Welcome to the final tutorial for the star buildings for Google SketchUp. This last building is actually a mix between both things that we've already done. So we're going to be using the scale tool along with our push-pull tool again in order to make our last building. So the first thing I need to do is I'm going to go ahead and use the push-pull tool to pull up my first layer. So I'm going to go ahead and get a better angle real quick. Click on my push-pull tool. Got my first piece here. I actually want this piece to be fairly small, and I only want it to be about as high as the bottom of this first window on the first building we did. So I'm going to go ahead and drag my cursor over, and see it says endpoint. That means that it's the exact same height. So I'm going to go ahead and click that. Now the next thing I need to do is I'm actually going to be piling on a bunch of different layers. So I'm going to go ahead and click on my paint bucket, and I want to change my color. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now my colors look a little bit different because I am working on an Apple computer. But I'm going to go ahead and click this pink, and I'm going to color just the top of that star. Okay. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on my push-pull tool again, because this is the next thing I want to do is I want to pull up just this pink color. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit the control button. And when I hit the control button, you'll notice that I get a little plus sign next to my push-pull tool on my star. That plus sign means that it's going to start adding a brand new part to the piece I already have there. So I'm going to go ahead and click up. So now this whole piece is pink because I painted it pink. I'm going to go ahead and make this only as tall as the top of that first window. And that's that piece. Now here's where we're going to start bringing in the scale tool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and click on my scale tool, or go ahead and hit S on your keyboard. And you want to click the top of this star. Now what I want to do is I want to shrink it in just a tiny little bit, not a lot, because my building's going to end up looking kind of wavy. So I'm going to go ahead and hold down Control. I'm going to pull it in towards the center like I did before, but just a little bit. Okay. So that's the first step in this particular building. Next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and change my color back. I want to go ahead and make sure I have the same white color that I had before. So I'm going to use my eyedropper. Okay, I've dyed the top white again. I'm going to go ahead and click on the push-pull tool again and pull it up. So see that the color has changed. I want this only to be as tall as this next window or piece. So I'm going to go ahead and drag it over. It's on the end point, and I click it. I'm going to recolor the top in that pink. And I'm going to go ahead and pull this up again. Make sure I hit Control because I want to take the color with me. And I got my plus sign. I'm going to go ahead and pull this up again. And I only want this as tall as this top of the second window here. Get rid of this. Got my eyedropper again. I want the whites. I'm going to color this white. I do want to use the scale also before I go ahead and move on to my next step. So I'm going to go ahead and hit Scale. I'm going to click the top, hold down Control, and I'm going to pull it in some more. Okay, so it's going to be a little bit smaller than it was the time that we did before. I've already colored my top white, so I'm going to go ahead and use my push-pull tool, pull it up again, and I want this to be as tall as the fourth section in my center building. All right, so I've got it evenly. I want to go ahead and make sure that I recolor this in the same pink that I was using before. Color the top. Select my push-pull tool once again. I'm going to hold down Control so I get the plus sign. And I'm going to pull it up again. Now this is going to go right up to the top of this first, or the top of the top window on my project. I'm going to go ahead and click that. All right, and I'm going to have one more layer that I do. So I want to make sure that this is white on top. Use my eyedropper. Click on the top again. And I want all these buildings to be the same size. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to click my push-pull tool again. Oops. Hold on, Control. Pull it up. There we go. Sorry about that. All right, and I want this to be exactly as tall as the building next to it. Now I am going to be using scale again, but instead of shrinking in this time, I'm actually going to pull the top of the building up so it's bigger. So I'm going to go ahead and hit scale. I'm going to click on the top. Get a better angle. So I'm going to click on the top again with my scale tool. There we go. I'm going to hold down Control. Now this time, like I said, I'm going to pull out instead of in. So I'm going to go ahead and make this bigger. All right. And that's our last building. So these are the star buildings and our SketchUp book for class.